Hi, I'm Haylie Peacock of Los Angeles, California.
I've been working on set today, and you're watching what I'm doing right now.
Remember that one time when I was at TwitchCon and Tom had a pain that he thought was his appendix, and we called 911, and then the people came and we went to the hospital. It turned out to be a kidney stone. Well, today, Tom got his revenge. I woke up in the evening and then I started getting a dull pain in my side. It just got worse. Kelsey was off at a dance party thing, and I texted her saying that I had a pain in my side. And then it got bad enough that I was dry heaving in the shower. Kelsey came home, picked me up, and brought me to the hospital. They have me on something, pain meds. And they did a CT scan and confirmed that there is, in fact, a kidney stone in there. The doctor said that it's kind of small, which is worse, I guess, because the smaller ones hurt more. What did he say, 3 millimeters? I don't really know what else to say, but that's what's happening, or rather, that's what I'm doing right now. Kelsey, this is for you. For taking me to the hospital.
I feel like it needs to be said. I don't have it on anymore, but...
It was quite entertaining last night that Kelsey was at
I took a picture.
A dance Halloween party thing when she left to take me to the hospital, and so we go to the ER, and I'm like writhing in pain on the floor of the waiting room, and Kelsey's sitting there in like demonic bunny makeup. All right, before we move on to the next part of this video, I would just like to say that I know that the footage you're about to see is slightly out of focus. All I can say is that I just wasn't in my right mind earlier today when I was shooting this, so I know this is not the cinematic quality that you've come to expect from what I'm doing right now. I just beg for your forgiveness, and I promise to try to do better in the future. Anyway, moving on. It feels a little bit weird that a few hours ago I was writhing in some of the most intense pain I've ever felt in my life, and now it's just normal. At some point, the nurse came in and pushed something called Dilaudid into my IV, which is a pretty hardcore pain med. And the feeling of it like hitting my system was very uncomfortable. It felt like the nurse had just pushed straight adrenaline into my bloodstream. Kelsey said that my heart rate didn't actually change on the monitor, but it suddenly felt like my heart was racing and pounding hard. And there was this kind of lightheaded, floaty feeling that was uncomfortable. I guess I'm thankful that I have never really dabbled in drugs, because I get the feeling that I just wouldn't like it at all. The particular nurse that I ended up with was this mild-mannered guy who just moved really slowly. So it was painful for me to sit down in a chair. So when we got to the waiting room, I sprawled out on the floor, and I'm like writhing in pain. And finally the nurse comes out and he's like, okay, let's go back. And he was just taking these super slow, small steps. And then we finally get back to the room, and he has me sit in the chair or in the bed, and then he has to like walk around the bed, and then he's like getting the IV stuff. And the whole time I was just like, I'm hurting worse than I have ever felt in my life. Can we get a little hustle? But, you know, from his point of view, this is just his job, and he does this every day, and he's probably just plodding along. What I think is interesting about both times that I've ended up in that ER is that you can walk in there with something that you feel is like life and death. The last time I was in there was when I sort of chopped the tips of my fingers off with a drone. And then in this circumstance, I was hurting worse than I ever have before. And still, you walk in there and there's just a person behind the desk that's like, name and date of birth, please. Sign this form, please. Is this your address? Is it correct? All right. Take this clipboard. All right. Go sit in the waiting room. Someone will be with you shortly. I forgot how many scoops of this powder I put in here. I'm going to review the footage. It appears that I scooped twice. Anyway, I had a fun hospital adventure this morning. Apparently, probably the kidney stone is now in my bladder, so I have to pee it out. I looked it up, and some people feel it and some people don't. I guess it's just like Russian roulette with your penis.
Michael, I have a serious question for you.
Yep.
Can I please marry you for legal purposes alone so that I can give you health insurance?
We could go down to the courthouse and do it right now. In some slightly more fun news, we now have a new part-time editor with the fantastic name Haylie Peacock. You recently saw some behind the scenes of us talking about who to potentially hire. I think I have some footage of interviewing Haylie for the first time, so if I do, that'll be right here. In the first email that you sent me, you said, I have full access to Adobe Premiere Pro for editing, as well as Acrobat for any sound needs.
Oh, I said Acrobat?
And then in my response to you, I said, I would really love to hear more about your Acrobat audio workflow.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. I meant to audition.
When I saw it, I was like, A, that's really funny. B, as an employer, this is a really excellent opportunity to see how she responds to making a mistake. That's valuable for me. So when you responded to me saying, tell me about your Acrobat workflow, you responded as if everyone along the line had just said audition. So I was like, did she even notice?
No,
is she just pretending?
That completely went over my head. I didn't even notice that.
So kidney stone stuff, that was fun. New editor, that's fun.
You've been going to the gym.
I've been keeping up with my gym habit. My muscles are getting bigger. That's exciting. Actually, I was editing the video from May 2nd this last week. It's the one where I'm in Vancouver, Washington with McKay's family, and we go disc golfing. And there was a shot in there where I hardly recognized I recognized myself. I was just so taken aback by the size difference of my neck now compared to that footage. It's difficult to notice differences in your body when you see your own body on a daily basis, but having something to compare myself to from five months ago. I guess the other update-worthy thing is that I'm currently in the planning stages of a giant road trip that I'm going to embark on probably on the 17th of November, taking me from here to Idaho to Utah to Colorado to Oklahoma to Texas to New Mexico to Arizona, California, and then back up through, what's that place where Vegas is?
Nevada?
Utah, Idaho, and home. Well, I'm happy to report that I peed the thing out. It didn't really hurt very much. There was kind of maybe a mild burning sensation associated with it. I'd say maybe a 1 out of 10 on the pain scale, but it wasn't bad. The thing itself is pretty small. I still have it at home, so maybe, is it weird if I show it? I don't know. But it's very small, so it's just weird to think about how something so tiny can be responsible for so much pain. It is pretty jagged. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I did pee blood at the hospital because it was tearing up my ureter on its way down from the kidney. And it does look kind of sharp. You know what I'm actually thinking is that I have a microscope. Maybe I should stick it under the microscope and see what it looks like under there. I can't decide if that's weird or not. So with that, I conclude today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.